Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope you all are doing well. And today we are going to discuss something very interesting in physics, and that is types of motion. In today's session, we are going to discuss that what is motion and what is rest. And then we'll be moving on to our main topic, which is types of motion. Translatory motion is the first type of motion, which has further three subtypes: linear motion, circulatory motion, and random motion. And then we'll be discussing rotatory motion and vibratory motion, as these two are also the types of motion. So let's discuss these all one by one. First of all, we are discussing motion and rest. And see, this is the definition of motion, like when the body changes its position with respect to its surroundings or reference point. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. See, this car in this picture is not changing its position with respect to its surroundings. And surroundings means environment around that body, right? So this car is not changing its position with respect to its surroundings or with respect to time. So we can say that this car is not in motion, or this car is at rest. While in this car is changing its position with respect to its surroundings or with respect to time. So we can say that this body is in motion, or this body is not at rest, right? I hope this is clear now. Now we are moving on to our main topic, which is types of motion. If we observe carefully, we will find that everything in the universe is in motion. Everything means everything. However, different objects move differently. Some objects move along a straight line, some move in a curved path, and some move in any other ways. So, translatory motion is the first type of motion. And this is the definition of translational motion. Like in translational motion, a body moves along a line without any rotation. The line may be straight or curved. So let's understand this with the help of example. Like this car is moving on a curved path, and this car is not a rotating body. So this car is in translational motion. This is another example. This ball is descending from a slope and it is moving in a straight line, and it is not a rotating body. So this is also an example of translational motion. Now, translational motion has further three subtypes: linear motion, circulatory motion, and random motion. First of all, linear motion. And as the name suggests, that the body which is in motion must be moving in a line. That's why the name is linear. And see, the definition states the same, that straight line motion of a body is known as its linear motion. Like this body is moving in a straight line and it is not changing its angle of movement. So it is moving in linear motion. And see, there is another example. These snails are moving on a straight path. The path is not curved and they are moving in a straight line. So these two are the examples of linear motion. Now we'll be discussing circulatory motion. And as the name suggests, that the body which is in motion must be moving in a circular path. And see, the definition states the same, that the motion of an object in a circular path is known as circular motion. Now, for example, if we tie a stone with a rope and we make it whirl like this, so for initially it will be rotating in a shorter circular path, and then after some time it will be moving in a bigger circular path whose radius will be equal to the length of the string, right? And it will be moving in a circular path like this. And then after some time, it will retain its mean position again. And this type of motion is called as circular motion. Okay. Now, discussing the third type of translatory motion, which is random motion. The disordered or irregular motion of an object is called random motion. Like this. This ball is moving randomly anywhere. Like, have you ever seen the movement pattern of insects? They move in random motion. They move anywhere they like. So we have discussed translational motion in detail. Now we'll be discussing the second type of motion, which is rotatory motion. And see, the definition is the spinning motion of a body about its axis is called its rotatory motion. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. As you all know that satellites rotate around our Earth in a circular path, and electron revolves or rotates around its nucleus. Now there is a question that what is the difference between circulatory motion and rotatory motion? In circulatory motion, the distance of the center point to the moving body changes with respect to time, but this is not the case in rotatory motion. The distance of the moving body from the center point remains the same. Now discussing the third type of motion, which is vibratory motion. And the definition is to and fro motion of a body about its mean position is known as vibratory motion. Let's understand this with the help of some examples. See, this is a pendulum and this is tied with a rope to an end. And see, this is the mean position at which it was resting before moving. And then now it is moving towards or away from its mean position, right? So this type of movement is called as vibratory motion. There is another example. See, there was the mean position of this swing, and now this girl is moving towards and then away from its mean position. So this type of motion is called as vibratory motion. Now it's time for some homework. Now here you have to identify different types of motion. See, there are some pictures and you have to find out that what type of motion this pendulum clock is executing, what type of motion these cars are executing, what type of motion our Earth is executing around its axis. and what type of motion this musical instrument is executing, what type of motion these clocks are executing, which we use in our daily lives, and what type of motion this butterfly is executing, what type of motion this top is executing, what type of motion this car is executing along this curved path, and what type of motion our earth is executing around the sun. So this is your homework, and thank you, my dear students. Have a nice day. Allah Hafiz.